as an Israeli minister took the unusual step of warning the Trump administration about the emerging Iranian empire in the Middle East. The Islamic Republic again provoked the U.S. military in the Persian Gulf Tuesday and mended ties with the Sunni terror organization Hamas in Gaza. Unnamed U.S. officials told Fox News Tuesday that an Iranian drone almost collided with a U.S. Navy F-18 Super Hornet while the plane was in a holding pattern before landing on the USS Nimitz, the giant aircraft carrier which arrived in the Persian Gulf recently. The incident marked the first time an Iranian drone interrupted a flight pattern of a U.S. warplane in the region. The Com-1 drone came within 100 feet of the F-18 jet and forced the pilot to execute several maneuvers to avoid collision with the Iranian drone. The anonymous official dubbed the encounter as unsafe and unprofessional, and dangerous. The command tower of the Nimitz used an emergency radio frequency to warn the Iranian operators of the drone to back off, but the Iranians gave no response, though the plane eventually moved away. The incident took place a day after a prominent Israeli minister warned the U.S. that Iran is establishing a new Persian empire under the noses of the American military, while the West is obsessed with the battle against Islamic State. Naftali Bennett, Israel's education minister and a member of the Beit HaYehudi, Jewish Home Party, wrote in an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal that Iran is quietly expanding its influence across the region, working to establish radical Shiite hegemony over large portions of the Middle East. Since its 1979 revolution, Iran has sought to become a dominant world power capable of instilling Islamic rule on as many people as possible. The Iranian regime finances and supports armed militias in other countries and is the world's top exporter of terror, Bennett said. The Israeli minister wrote that Iran represents a much greater and deadlier long-term threat than the Islamic State's rapidly shrinking caliphate, and warned that Iran endangers the entire Western world. An essential part of Tehran's grand strategy is to control a land corridor from Iran to the Mediterranean Sea. Under the cover of Syria's bloody civil war, Hezbollah is helping to build such a highway. This endangers the entire Western world. According to Bennett, controlling this corridor would directly connect Iran with its proxies in Syria and Lebanon, allowing it to transfer advanced weapons cheaply and quickly. The highway would let Iran build its military presence on the Mediterranean, bringing much of Europe into the range of its air force, navy and mid-range missiles. Iran could even build arms factories outside its borders, the Israeli minister cautioned, while criticizing the West's blindness when it comes to the Iranian threat. In the game of chess that Syria has become, Western leaders are so focused on the knight attacking their pawns they cannot see the queen maneuvering to defeat them. Mistaking ISIS as the most serious threat has allowed Iran to move its pieces forward and gain better position, said Bennett, who is a reserve major in the Israel Defense Forces General Staff Reconnaissance Unit. It will take time and patience to stop Iran. The international community needs to defeat Tehran wherever its forces advance, in cyberspace, on the battlefields of Yemen and Iraq, and in advanced weapons laboratories. This effort will be both public and covert, economic and technological. If it results in direct military confrontation, Iran's foes must be ready to win there too, he said. Bennett said he believes the West is too focused on combating terrorism, and claimed that it is blind to the Iranian aggressive imperialist drive that threatens to destabilize the Middle East even further. There are many possible courses of action against Iran, yet the free world, led by the US, has yet to take the first and most important step, declaring that it cannot abide an Iranian empire from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea, the Israeli minister wrote. Iran, meanwhile, is expanding its influence to the Gaza Strip. On Tuesday, a high-level Hamas delegation arrived in Tehran for talks with the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps. Hamas later released a statement saying that the delegation was in Iran to turn a new page in bilateral relations between the sides. The rapprochement between Iran and Hamas has been facilitated by Hezbollah, Iran's Lebanese proxy army, the national army radio station Galatz in Israel reported last week.